All right, everybody. So we're here at this point where I have to drill these holes here out to a number 12 on each side. And there's a note in the plans that says it's critical that it is perpendicular to the spar here. And that's something that I've had to chew on here for a couple days, think about how I'm going to get that done. And I came up with a plan. So what I did, bought some of this square aluminum bar, cut me off a little piece of it, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here with this square stock to make a bit of a drill jig. And it's nothing fancy, it's pretty cheap. Maybe you have it laying around your shop. I had to go down to the big box store and get me a piece. But I think, not being a machinist, not having a machine shop in my garage here, I'm building an airplane in my garage, so I got to make do. But I think this is going to be a good way that I could transfer the same kind of perpendicular plane that you would in a drill press to this spar. So let's take a look and see how we get that done. Okay, so we got the bar stock clamped onto the back of the spar on the vertical here. And you can see I've left a gap here. I didn't clamp it directly to this part here where we need to drill through. But you can see, hopefully, that it's pretty well aligned with that piece of angle stock. So what we're going to do is use this angle drill here, and I've got a couple of small bits. This one is a 3/32. I have a 1/8 here as well. What we'll do is we're just going to reach through and not drill all the way through. We're going to reach through the back here like this and just touch that and mark the locations for the holes. So we'll do that now. All right, swapped over to a little bit longer drill, just so we make sure we can get in there and touch that. And one more now with a 1/8 hole. Okay, now hopefully we can take the clamps off here and have a marked piece of aluminum that we're going to use for a drill bit. And we do. So let's take this to a drill press. All right, here we are at the drill press. I've set up the drill bit here that we're going to use for the center hole. And what I want to do before we start is I want to see if we're perpendicular. I'm pretty good that direction. And I'm pretty happy with it there. So what we'll do then is we get it set up here and we're going to drill our first hole, the center hole. Okay, so here's the piece of tooling we've got, the bar attached with a cleco. You can see that I've enlarged here the hole on the top side so that we could put the cleco in. Did not enlarge the other hole, obviously. Wanted to keep that 1/8 so that we could keep the Cleco in there to keep it in place. But for alignment purposes, you can see I've taken this other old drill bit that we used to mark in the front and slid it in here to check our alignment. So far everything's so good. Now what we're going to do is slide a regular jobber bit in, and it slides right in. So I think we've got everything pretty well aligned. What we can do now, let's see if you can see this here. I'll try to move it around a little bit. And hopefully you can see that that's pretty well aligned. And it looks pretty well perpendicular. So let's take a look. I'm going to see if we can take a look at that. In fact, let me get the long one so it gives you a little better look. Slide it in. Hopefully it slides in. There we go. I want to get on the rivet head. We've got our square up here, and I think it basically shows a pretty perpendicular hole. Okay, the drill guide is back on, Clecoed in place with my little tooling screw here, or drill bit, kind of holding it in place. Looks like we got it pretty well centered up. If I look down the hole, which I don't know if you guys can see in the camera, trying to line it up for you, but it's pretty well centered. So I think we're ready to make the big move and go ahead and drill this thing out. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, everybody, here's the piece in place again. We got the AN bolt taking up the slack in the hole on the other side here. It's actually pretty firm. You can move the whole tail around. It's not going anywhere. It turned out to be a pretty good piece of tooling. It's cheap. The theory of it is pretty simple. We're basically using this to emulate or to transfer, in some ways, the drill press table that we used to create the holes initially. So we're kind of cheating by using this to drill perpendicular holes and then transfer those holes to the face of this piece of the vertical stabilizer. So I'm going to go ahead and drill the other hole. All right, here we go, getting ready to drill. A little squirt of Bow Lube, just because. I'm going to slide it in. Nice and slow, no reason to force it through. Let the drill bit do the work. And there we go. So let's take it apart and see how we did. Okay, there's the finished product. We got 2 bolt holes drilled through. May not be perfectly perpendicular, but it's pretty darn close. And I think well within any kind of kit plane standards. Take a look here, you can see what it looks like. You keep the light going. Worked out pretty good. Overall, I'm pretty happy. I was a little bit nervous about doing a perpendicular hole on these. It certainly isn't a lot of extra effort to do what I did with that little piece of square stock. And it's a whole lot better than freehanding it. So, not saying it's the way you should do it. It's the way I did it. I think it turned out okay.